Yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
And Penny.
There he is.
Welcome to Sports Unfolded NBA playoff preview. I'm your host, Eric. My two main men up there, Ron and Kenny. How are you, gentlemen?
Good.
NBA playoffs, they're here. They start
They
today.
are here.
Excited about that. The playing games were completed last night, so we have exactly who's playing who. So we're going to break down every single matchup. We're going to do a special pick and roll on which player has the most pressure to win in this postseason. And then we're going to give you our predictions on who's going to win the entire thing. And if you watched our NHL or Major League Baseball or NFL preview shows, you'll see that we really don't know what we're talking about half the time.
Yeah,
now we're pretty good. We've done pretty good. Mm-hmm. We might have the right state, just the wrong team. Right, Ryan?
Hey, I got the LA Rams that won it. And I have an Ohio team that was in the Super Bowl. So,
Sarah, thanks for joining. All right, so we're going to start off in the Western Conference because I really want to cover the Eastern Conference in more detail, especially the Boston Celtics, as they're our home team. So we're going to start off in the West and then make our way to the East. So first matchup is the number one seed Phoenix Suns versus the New Orleans Pelicans, who won their play-in game. The season series went to Phoenix, who won the series 3-1. Basically averaging 117 points. New Orleans averaged 110 in those matchups. Phoenix shot, believe it or not, 51.3% in that series. So they shot the ball extremely well. 42.7% from three-point range. Averaged 38.8 rebounds and 30.5 assists. Very good numbers. And if you look at New Orleans, 43% shooting, obviously 8% lower than Phoenix. 31.9 from three-point land. That's not going to win you any games. Did out-rebound him, though. 47.3 rebounds, 24.8 assists.
Yeah, if Phoenix is going to get beat at all in the playoffs, it's going to be because of rebounding. I mean, they got one guy, really, that does the bulk work.
Yeah, Aiton's the guy that you really want to keep under control if you're another team on the boards. But Devin Booker averaged 27 points in the series against them. So you got to look at what he's able to do. Can they contain him? No. CJ McCollum, 26.5 points, though, for New Orleans when he faced Phoenix. And we saw what he did in this play-in game. The man wants to win. Yeah. I'm going to ask you this question. How important would it be to have Zion Williamson back?
It would be big.
There's expectation he could be back in this series.
That would make a difference. That would make a big difference.
Look, we know what Phoenix is. They're the best team in the league.
Yep.
They've been consistent all year. But it is the playoffs. And look, last year they made it to the finals. But we could also say that they've had opportunities in the past where they didn't make it, and we expected them to. So do we feel like this Phoenix team is an upset? Is this an upset special waiting to happen?
I don't think so. I just don't think he's played enough to get into, any kind of big role. I mean, he can change a game. I don't see it being more than changing one game, and that would probably be the first one that he gets into as a kind of a surprise for the team to face. But after that, I think they adjust better and compensate for that.
Brandon Ingram, 22 points. He's looked very good against Phoenix. What does he need to do to keep New Orleans in this?
Score. He's their leader right now. He basically saved them.
Between him and McCollum, right? If they can get 50
it's
plus.
a good 1-2 punch.
Valsalunas would be a key as well. 20 points he averaged against Phoenix in the 4 games, but you got to look at the fact that he's got to play against Ayton, so he's got to be that guy to try to control Ayton down low. He's their big man.
Yeah, he could post and he could shoot outside.
So you're looking at the number 1 shooting team in the league. That was Phoenix at 48.5%. They shoot the ball extremely well. The New Orleans Pelicans really didn't have any top 5 categories to speak of. No. I just think that they're going to be overmatched in this series. It's going to be
absolutely. I mean, like I said, if Zion comes in, they might be able to get a game out of it. You know, I don't see any more than 1. I really don't. Yeah. I think Phoenix is just too complete.
Yeah.
You know, so, they've got you know, probably top 5 categories in almost everything for
yeah, they're
major categories.
Just about every category. And if you look at their top 3 scorers versus New Orleans, it was Booker, Ayton, and Bridges. Yeah. Chris Paul didn't even. I think Chris Paul's like their 6th. Like they're getting scoring from everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you got some guys there, the role players, you know, and that makes a difference. Like, you know, in the NBA, you know, you have your star players. You know, all the teams have their star players. You know, some more than others. But
here we go. He wants to talk about the Lakers. I told you we were going to get a little LeBron in.
No.
Okay.
No. You know, like New Orleans has their star players. You know, but it's what comes off that bench is what's going to matter, and the sustainability for Phoenix to just roll one player after another without really, you know, dropping in a talent level, it make a huge difference, and it's just going to be relentless for New Orleans, and they can probably sustain for like a quarter or 2, and then it's just going to, you know, it's just going to be relentless for them, and that's what does it.
I just want to give some credit. Willie Green, I think he's done a great job because this team should not have been in the playoffs, honestly, when you lose Zion. And that C.J. McCollum trade, you picked up a guy that was hungry, right? That was a big pickup for them. It got him to at least get in the game. Like, he did what he needed to do to win a play-in game. It'd be fun to see the series go, you know, deep, but I really don't think it's going to go very far. I don't agree with you, Ron. Maybe one game. New Orleans can, you know, sneak in there, but it'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So our number 2 versus number 7 matchup, it's going to be a fun one, I think. Memphis versus Minnesota. Series was tied in the regular season, 2-2. And as great as Memphis has been, they averaged 112 points in that game. Minnesota averaged 120 in that series. So they did a lot of scoring. Minnesota is the number 1 scoring team in the NBA this season, which blew my mind. 115.9 points a game.
Yeah, that's what makes this one. This one is an upset waiting to happen.
Kenny's got him winning it all. I already know Kenny's going Memphis, so that would be a major upset.
Yeah, I see this as the only upset in this conference. Not saying that I'm picking them to win, you know, but it is the biggest potential out west for an upset.
Minnesota is sneaky good. I didn't realize. So number 1 scoring team in the league, number 1 in 3-pointers made in the league. Mm-hmm. They were 3rd in blocks, 3rd in steals.
Yeah. So
quietly, they've just had a good year. Nothing, you know, mind-blowing. But look, they shoot better than Memphis. They're 46% to 42%. Shoot the 3 better, 38% to 30%. They're almost tied in rebounds. But Memphis, too, number 1 in blocks, number 1 in steals, number 1 in rebounds. How much can Ja Morant do to continue this run? Desmond Bane, Jared Jackson Jr., I mean, all these guys have stepped up.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned hunger with McCullough, and you know, like you're looking at Minnesota that's been starving. They've been starving since they came into the league when they had, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Since then, it has been one disastrous season after another. Now, they put themselves in a position where they're playing another young team, young in the playoffs as well.
Yep.
And, when you have guys that can score, when you can shoot the three, you have, that puncher's chance. So if you get hot in 4 of the 7 games with good shooting, you can win this. I mean, you only have to have great shooting in 4 games. That's what they need to do.
Kenny, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Now, Beverly was quite excited about the win over the Clippers, to the point where he's been fine now. But he had a bear with the celebration. He did the Kobe thing, jumping on the. Do you think they overextended their excitement by winning that play-in game? That could actually hurt them in this series?
Obviously not. Obviously not. He's been to the playoff 36 times, Beverly. Okay? All right? So he knows what to expect and what not to expect. It's been a long time since they've been in the playoffs. So, hey, let them get excited. Let them jump up. Let them do their
thing. So do you think it might work in the opposite way? Maybe it's the motivation to show how important it is to win in the playoffs, and it can actually, inspire the team to do better?
It might, but those Memphis Grizzlies are on another level. Level.
I'm breaking news right now. He's going to pick them to win it all. But go ahead.
The only thing that I'm worried about is the Grizzlies score 57 points in the paint. If they can get to the paint.
So what do you think, Karl Anthony Towns? Again, that 1-2 punch. D'Angelo Russell averaged 31 points. He only played in 1 game against them, but 31 points. Towns 23 points a game. Anthony Edwards 21. They've got a 3-headed monster that we weren't really considering.
Yep.
And Anthony Edwards has taken the next step. He's that Dwayne Wade type of player now where he can take over a game.
He's come a long way since being on ER.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
ER one. I can't. Nobody likes that joke.
I think they do.
Didn't work the first time. It's not working now. So if Memphis is going to pull this off, obviously Ja has to be important. But which guy would you say is the next most important? Would it be Bane or Jackson?
It would be all 3.
All 3. Okay.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. Jackson's only 22. Brooks is only 26. Bane's only 23. They're young kids. So they can run, they can jump, they can score.
So to me, I think this is going to be one of the highest number 2 scoring team in the league.
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the 2 highest scoring teams facing each other in the first round.
And being so young.
Be a run and gun.
Yeah, they're so young. They haven't even defined refined their defensive skills. So, it's going to be, the ball is going to get chucked up from everywhere.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. This people may get tired just watching it because that's how back and forth it's going to be. So, really excited to see that series. I believe that one kicks off today. I'm pretty sure that one starts today.
3:30.
3:30.
Yep.
Yeah, and the first game's the Dallas game, correct, today?
Yes.
Yeah. So our number 3 versus number 6 matchup. This one's a tough one. Oof. Golden State versus the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets actually won the season series 3-1. Both averaged 109.8 points per game in those 4 matchups. So they were actually equal. Golden State shot the ball a little better at 48% versus 46%. Threes 34% to 29%, but then they got out rebounded 45 to 39, and more assists for Denver as well, 27 to 25. We obviously know the stars in this series, right? Can Jokic do enough to keep Denver in it? Would be my question. And also remember, not a healthy Steph Curry. We're not sure what percentage of Steph Curry is going to actually be in this series.
Yeah, well, this is probably going to go to the distance. Look, this is going to be probably one of the best series in the first round because of that skill level of the stars. To be honest with you, we know Golden State can shoot. We know that. It's whether or not the Joker can maybe slow down the pace a little and facilitate the ball, without issues of turnovers. Because if he starts turning the ball over to these players that have been around a long time and are pretty solid defensively, you can run into problems and it can get away from you in a hurry. So he has to make sure, and I don't doubt that he can. He's gonna slow down the pace of the Warriors and those quick outlet passes to get those quick threes, that we know Golden State can put in and get a nice run going with that. So he's got to slow that down and control the tempo so that way they don't run away with it. Because if they get hot, it's going to be really difficult to stop them. So, and the Joker, he can do that. I mean, he's top 10, top 5, I believe, in rebounds, and obviously points. And I believe he's top 5, maybe even in assists.
Yeah, I believe he is as well.
Yeah.
So, he's a guy that can slow Golden State down.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to go the distance with this one.
I could say going the distance. Kenny, I want to ask you this. Did you know, Kenny, or do you know, would probably be the correct, Golden State in the 4 games, who were their leading scorers? Their top 3 scorers. I'm just going to throw it out there. I want to see. Well, who would you think?
Let's see. Probably Poole, Wiggins.
He was 2. Who was it?
Wiggins.
No.
Okay. Right.
So Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, and Moses Moody.
Oh my!
When they played against Denver, he averaged 17.5 points a game. No Clay. Clay was just under that. No Draymond. Right. So you think about some of those key role players. How important. Now, when I ask you about Ron Jokic, would you know who the other 2 top scorers were for the Denver Nuggets?
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? I feel bad. This poor man is doing this on his own. So Monty Morris and Will Barton were the next 2 leading scorers against Golden State. Yeah. He's got a tremendous amount of uphill battle when it comes to trying to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Behind him, he also has Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, and Bones Highland. So he has tremendous ability.
Yeah, but I think you got a couple of players, that don't have, the limelight, so to speak, in the league. Especially like Jeff Green. He's been everywhere, I believe.
Yeah.
He had one of those luggage with the, they put the bumper stickers on it. Yeah, he looked like that cartoon where all the stickers of every city he's been in.
So, but he's got enough skill that he's going to have to step up. I think he's going to have to really step up for this team in order for them to have a chance.
What happened to Aaron Gordon?
Yeah.
He's the guy that, Gordon, his stock dropped. He got there, and when that trade happened last year, I really expected him to. Yeah. With Jokic, you're talking about a guy now that takes away the rebounding pressure from you.
Yep.
You could just score, and it hasn't seemed to materialize like I thought it would have.
That was the second guy that I was saying that has to step up. Green and Gordon has to be number 2 and 3 on this team in order for them to beat Golden State.
And we're talking about stay in it, which is crazy. We're talking about a 6 seed. They're not a bad team. They've had a good record all year.
Yeah,
right.
And yet we're down on them. Are we putting too much emphasis though on Golden State? Because listen, Golden State has not looked as dominant after that hot start. If they didn't start so fast, they may not have been, the 3 seed. They might have been in that play-in game because they were playing some really good basketball early, and then lately they're a 500 team.
Yeah, like I equivalate them to the NHL's Tampa Bay Lightning they've just been an average team down the stretch, and that's but that doesn't dictate how they're going to do in the playoffs. Those kind of teams seem to be able to get the spark that they need at the right time. And, like I said, and when you have shooters that can put in the threes and they get hot, they can basically vault you, many games, because they can go on a streak for several games. I mean, we know Clay and we know, Curry.
Yeah.
Like they get hot, it's over. It's lights out.
So I'm going to ask this question to both of you gentlemen, and just a yes/no answer. If the Golden State Warriors lose, are we breaking up the Golden State Warriors? Is this the end of the run?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No, I don't think it will be.
Okay.
I think they'll make some changes. They'll try to add,
is
a
the
free
Draymond
agent.
Listen, you're not getting rid of Steph Curry, but could Draymond or Clay be one of those guys that they try to get a package for?
No.
Think about it.
Yeah.
They've
I
had
think
their
they
run.
will.
They've had
No,
their
I think
run.
they will. I think one of them will go.
They've had their run.
I think one of them is going to go no matter what after the season.
Kenny's a firm no.
They just need a center. They just need a big man to do their dirty work.
Wiseman.
Wiseman. Did you know Clay,
Tice.
Curry, and Draymond only played 11 minutes together this season?
Yeah.
Only 11 minutes.
Right.
11 minutes. So therefore, they better get that chemistry back together.
That's what I'm saying. Is that run over? Is it time to just say, look, they've had their success, and you got to get younger. And look, Draymond's been hurt, Clay's been hurt, Steph gets hurt every year. At some point, you might have to say, look,
you have to.
Yeah,
Look, this is a team that's going to have to do that next year. You got to get younger.
Well, save it for the NBA preview show for next 2023. All right, number 4 matchup.
You asked.
The number 4-5 matchup, extremely interesting, especially because of injuries. Dallas Mavericks versus the Utah Jazz. The series was tied 2-2 in the regular season. Dallas averaged 112 points to Utah's 109. Both shot 46%. Dallas a little better at the 3, 40% versus 37. 40 rebounds to 43 in favor of Utah. Assists were about even. We know what controls this series. Luka Doncic in that injury. If he's already not going today, Dallas isn't winning this series. They're not winning a game if Luka Doncic isn't on the floor.
Yeah.
Ron seems to think otherwise.
Yeah.
No, God, no. Without Luka, they're nothing. What is the details of the injury? Do we know anything?
It's a calf
coming
injury.
up?
Calf injury. They did an MRI. I believe it's not torn, but it's obviously enough pain where he can't go today.
Yeah.
And you're talking about what, 2 to 3 day rest each game, and that's it. So it's not like he's going to have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And they can't afford it. They can't afford him to be out 3 games, and then all of a sudden now he's going to come back and win 4 straight for him. And again, depth's an issue with Dallas. Jalen Brunson was their second leading scorer against Utah, and Spencer Dinwiddie was their third leading scorer. So those two guys, obviously, are talking about trying to have to step up their game average 25 to 30 now to make up for Luka, who averaged 30 points a game versus Utah.
Yeah. Spencer Dinwiddie is the key for today's game.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
He's had a good year.
Look, yeah, but you know what? They're not going to have Luka. They're going up against Utah, and this is Utah running away with game 1.
Although benefit Dallas at home.
Doesn't matter.
And then
You don't have that key offensive piece that runs everything. Who steps up for that?
Do you
You know what I'm
saying? Who was their second leading scorer against Utah?
Oh, God.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
No, he was third.
He was
Brunson.
third.
But
Brunson.
guess who was originally? If you look at the stats,
Yeah, you got to go back before the trades.
Porzingis.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but
right. So
I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be that guy.
Could this be that? Could this be that piece that they're going to be missing? Because now Utah, look, Rudy Gobert, we know he's a big piece in the middle. They don't have a center that's going to be able to compete. Not that there many are.
Again, this is the problem. Okay, so you have Luka leads in points, right? You have Luka dishing the ball to everybody, right? And you have Luka getting quite a lot of rebounds. Who does that? There isn't a player on the team now that can do that. So the offense now has to go through somebody else. And then who's going to get those boards against Gobert? Nobody. Like, he's going to own the boards in game one. He's owning the boards. So you have to make every shot, or they're going to fast break after every shot you miss. And you're not going to be able to stop Utah because they're too good, for that, fast break, and you have nobody back there to stop them. This is going to be a disaster of a game, and every game that he misses is a bigger and bigger hole. And to be honest with you, the series is already over before it begins.
So if Dallas sneaks one in, does that not change the whole concept of the series, though?
Dallas needs to get him back in there.
If you win a game without Luka and beat Utah, to me, that kind of puts Dallas to say, look, if we can sit him an extra game or two,
right,
now get him rest,
but I don't see
100% healthy.
I don't see it happening. I
do.
And Kenny,
there's an old saying: when you live by the three, or you can die by the three. Utah chucks up more threes than any other team, and when they're on, they're on. But when they're off, they lose deeply. They lose by a lot.
Yeah.
So,
but there's going to be nobody on the other end to get rebounds. And watch Gobert.
Got to be Dinwiddie.
I'm going to say he's going to get at least 15 rebounds today. At least.
Well, that's his job. That's his job.
Yeah, it is his job. But he, 15.
There we go. Here's what I want to see. I want to see Donovan Mitchell step up and become a superstar, a complete superstar.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen?
Not going to happen.
The kid's a talent.
Oh yeah, he is.
But I feel like every time we get into the playoffs, I'll have that one game where he scores like 50 points and you're like, holy cow, I think it was him and Jamal Murray.
Yep.
Right? And they both went for 50 and they were just going back and forth. Can he stay consistent enough for Utah? So obviously we're going to make our picks, but Ron, pretty much you're going to say this series will be over without Luka. Can Utah make a run in the West?
No.
Or is it just because of the Dallas situation with the injury, and then you think they fall in the next round?
Yeah, because the winner of that series has to play Phoenix. So,
very well. Very well. Good point. So we are going to do a very special pick and roll. If you ever tune into our regularly scheduled program at 6 p.m. every Friday, we do a pick and roll where we kind of rank and stack different topics. Today's topic, obviously, is going to be an NBA topic on which of these 6 players has the most pressure to win this postseason. So the 6 candidates that we decided to go with were Kevin Durant, James Harden, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler, and Luka Doncic. Those are your 6 players, gentlemen. You will rank them 6 to 1 in the order you feel they have the least amount of pressure to win this postseason to the most amount of pressure to win this postseason. I'm gonna start out because Kenny, you don't get to do this much. You are gonna lead us off on our pick and roll.
Ooh, it's a pleasure.
Oh,
Okay, you ready? Number
yeah.
6.
Okay, and remember before you start, I'm always right on these. So if you don't
You're
have
never
my
right.
you're always
Kenny, he's never right. Never.
What you got, Kenny?
Don't worry.
Number 6, Jimmy Butler. Okay, no disrespect. Nobody cares about Jimmy Butler. All right. I mean, come on. I mean, he's just Jimmy Butler. Okay. All right. No pressure at all. It doesn't even matter. Okay. Number 5, Luka. Okay. They traded Porzingis. He's a superstar of that team. He has a lot of pressure on him. Okay. Number 4, of course, Jason Tatum. Of course, Jason Tatum. They want to see if do we keep you or do we trade you and keep the other
Wow.
guy?
Okay.
Let's see. How
Okay.
did you do in the playoffs?
Okay.
Number 3, James Harden. You got all this talk, Jimmy. Got this talk, James. You can score big. You can get to the basket. You could do this. You could do that. He's been terrible with Philly. Terrible. Terrible. Number 2, Kevin Durant, of course. Can you win without a big 3? You left the Warriors. You're in Brooklyn. Can you win? I don't know. I don't know. And number 1, Chris Paul. He's getting old. He's the best point guard in the league. Let's see what you got, Paul. You're doing good this year. Let's see if you can finish. You almost finished last year, but can you finish this year?
Not bad. You're a little off, but not bad. Not bad. Little off. Just a little
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
That's pretty good. Ron, what do you got?
Decent. All right. So, number 6, I have Luka. Look, everybody knows that Dallas is a one-trick pony. The Mavericks, one-trick pony.
Yes,
I like that one.
So, nobody's expecting
Do not
him
encourage
to
him,
win
Kenny.
today. Nobody's expecting him to win it. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you're in a division. I mean, in a conference where, there's teams that are built to win. And they probably need 2 more pieces in order to win a championship. So I don't think there's any pressure, and he's still young enough where he's got a long career ahead of him. So I don't think there's pressure yet. Number 5, Jimmy Butler. Like he said, no one cares. No one cares. Like
they're the number 1 seed in the East.
Look, I don't care. Nobody cares. Look, there's people that are fans of the NBA that still have no clue who Jimmy Butler is. Like, let's be honest. He's not a number 1 guy. Nobody cares. Number 4, I have Jason Tatum because all of Boston knows that Celtics fans are, let's just say, kind of relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're not the passionate Patriot fans. They're not the passionate, Bruins fans or the Red Sox fans. They're more laid back and, everything is green. We'll still live off all the championships that Russell and Bird have, and this is all fine. We won one with Garnett and Pierce and Allen. So we're okay. We're still okay, So there's not really a whole lot of pressure. People were clamoring to get rid of Tatum and Brown, and start over anyway. So, this is bonus time. Number 2 seed, we're so surprised. It doesn't get better than this. Even if we lose to Brooklyn, right? That would be awful, but, So, Tatum, number 4. Number 3, I have Kevin Durant. They'll start questioning, his leadership skills. I think it would probably be the first ones to be questioned on this. If he doesn't get past Boston, it's going to be hell in New York. But there is a degree of pressure. But
can I stir something up before you go to your number 2? So why does Kevin Durant not get as much criticism as LeBron When he wanted Kyrie, he wanted James Harden.
You're asking the wrong person, because I think
So
that
you think
he has
about
a lot to. He has a
but
lot to
you
question
think
for.
about how we
but-
feel about LeBron James in this.
Right.
Granted, the
And
disaster that was the Lakers, but Kevin
that
Durant
is the
built his
perception,
team
though.
to be
I
the number
know.
one seed. I mean, it's
Oh, I know he did. Oh, I know.
and then they end up trading away one piece of it to get another
Right.
piece that's not even playing. But okay, I just want
Right.
to
No, believe
Kevin
me.
Durant,
And
number 3.
the perception of what KD is and what LeBron is are two different things, and they both should be equally analyzed the same. That's coming from me. I think they should. He has a big part of the problem that is going on in Brooklyn. But that's, everybody loves this guy, right?
Number 2.
Number 2, Chris Paul. Like Kenny said, he's getting up there in years.
It's
Okay,
almost time.
he needs to get a championship, right?
Yeah.
He had a chance last year
Time's
and
running.
got hurt.
TikTok.
TikTok is right. So, like, he's hearing it. Those footsteps coming. There's somebody behind him ready to come and take his spot. We got another maybe 1 or 2 good years left in him for this shot, because Phoenix is going to stay competitive long.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 is James Harden. Like, really, it's time to shut your mouth and put up a championship. Because people are up to here with his antics. Him and Westbrook, they are equally as bad teammates than you could probably go through history. They're probably the worst teammates you could ever imagine having in the NBA. And all they do is me.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't work as a team. They want to be the guy that does it and catapults them, and that hurts the team in the long run. And obviously, it has in the playoffs, because they haven't won a damn thing.
So, gentlemen, I have to say, we were all really close. We were really close.
I think it's kind of like an obvious, like
almost,
one spot. Yeah,
So-
one spot here and there.
So, as much as I criticize, I had Jimmy Butler at 6. And I agree that I don't think anybody's taking the Miami Heat seriously, that if they lose, they're just going to say, well, they weren't really a number 1 seed. So I don't think Jimmy Butler's really got that much pressure.
They might lose the first round.
Yeah.
But I like that Atlanta team after what they did last night.
Absolutely. Look, Trae Young's a beast.
Yes.
At number 5, I went Luka Doncic. Look, again, another team that doesn't have a lot of talent around them. With the injury, if they don't make it out of the first round, people will just say, well, you know what? He was hurt and he needs help.
All 3 of us had those 2, 5, 6.
Yep. So we bounced that. Believe it or not, we all 4 had it. Jason Tatum at 4. Again, it's the same thing. I don't think the pressure's on him to win it all now. No. You can see the building blocks. I would say next season, if they continue to do what they're doing, there'll be a lot more. He'll be higher up on this list, but I could see him at number 4. At number 3, I went Kevin Durant. And I agree 100% what Ron said, that leadership skill, and start to question what you said, Kenny. You made this move. You wanted your own team. You wanted to get out of Golden State.
Yep.
You built this team now, and if you can't win, that's on you.
It's crazy how he doesn't get that reputation like LeBron. It's crazy, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, if they keep losing, yeah, absolutely. So at number 2, I had Chris Paul, and I think we all said it. Look, time's running. How many times can you have the number 1 team in the NBA, right? He's led what we talked about, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The New Orleans Hornets back in the day, the Houston Rockets, the LA Clippers.
Yep.
Now you got the Phoenix Suns, all with a number 1 team, best record in the league. Those other 3 times, you didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. You have a team that went to the finals last year. Lost in 6? So it wasn't like you got destroyed. You could have won that series. I think they were up actually in the series, and then Milwaukee just came back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you now take this team and finally get them over the hump? And if you can't, how many more opportunities do you really think you're going to have? So a ton of pressure on Chris Paul. But again, number one has to be James Harden. There's been more negative publicity about him, especially after this trade,
Right.
and the fact that you can't win in the playoffs. It's just been a proven fact. You've had teams that have been extremely good and have gotten bounced, and you're going to go now into a situation where, look, everybody's watching you. This is like and if they're lucky, it's not a Brooklyn Philly matchup first, because imagine the pressure that would have been on them at that point. So they need to win. You've got Joel Embiid, who's probably the best player he's ever been with. If you can't win with him, then you don't deserve to.
Wait, so you're saying Embiid is better than KD?
I think Embiid's more dominant when it comes to his position and what he can do. There's guys that can score in this league. And KD's a score. Listen, KD's a phenomenal player. I'm not saying he's a top 10 player of all time. He is. He's in that category. But when you talk about a dominant center like a Shaq was,
wait, top 10? You think KD's top 10 all time?
I think he could be. Yeah. I think we can make that comparison. He's that good. I think the only thing with KD that honestly hurt him is the injuries. Because if he had stayed healthy throughout, I mean, he'd average 30 plus every year. It's just what he does.
That'd be an interesting list.
That might be something we'll have to do at some point.
Because
All
obviously Michael is one.
Michael. He's Michael.
Yeah, he's Michael. Yeah.
He's Michael. He's
So
all right.
that leaves 9 other guys that you can throw in there.
Ron already got Michael at 1. What about Kobe? What about Bill Russell?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Chamberlain.
So saying he's 10, top 10.
He could be in the top 10.
You got Magic.
He could be.
I mean, anyway.
Eastern Conference. Let's talk some Eastern Conference. We're going to finish with the Celtics, Brooklyn, because it's our hometown team. So we're going to start off with the number 3 Milwaukee Bucks versus the number 6 Chicago Bulls. Milwaukee won this series in regular season 4-0, averaged 116 points to Chicago's 101. Milwaukee shot 50% in those games, 32% from 3, averaged 50 rebounds and 24 assists. They basically beat the Bulls in every single category.
So basically what we're saying is going to be 8-0 this season.
It should be.
Yeah.
Chicago, Caruso may be back, but no Ball. That's going to hurt.
Yep.
Serge Ibaka and George Hill hurt for the Bucks, though. So, again, you're talking about 2 veterans who are key contributors. But Giannis, again, is another guy that who's going to compete with Giannis on that team? DeMar DeRozan can score, but he's not going to be able to do what Giannis does. I don't know. The only factor that you got to look at, the number 14 3-point percentage was Chicago. And they shot the ball extremely well from the free throw line. They were 3rd in the NBA. If they can drive the basket, get to the line, they're going to score some points. And if they can continue to shoot the ball well from outside, they have a shot of at least stealing 1. I can't see them stealing more than 1 game.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see them getting 1.
Right. And so, again, Bulls, I think when the season started, we looked at them and they were just tearing it up. And then they just came down to earth fast. They crashed. And it was pretty funny.
It's because Milwaukee and Boston started playing well. And it's no surprise that you saw teams start to drop, like we saw Cleveland start dropping and dropping and dropping, because those 2 teams basically started dominating. And, I'm actually surprised Miami wasn't the team that fell further. I thought Chicago would have been able to hang in there, but they did not. It was Miami that did. And, but it was an obvious pickup in the game of Milwaukee and Boston that led to Chicago to find themselves where they are now, and that's down at the 6th seed and looking up to a team like Milwaukee that figured out that they were hungry again.
I would say this: Zach LaVine is going to be such a key component for Chicago. I mean, he averaged 25 points a game against Milwaukee, but
he's got to raise that.
Yeah, he's got to be a 30 plus. Him and DeRozan, that's the only shot they have. Both of those guys go for 30 plus.
Yeah,
and even then, it's going to be tough.
Yep.
Kenny's just not easy.
Yeah, this is a clean sweep for the Bucks. Okay, all right. Too many injuries for Chicago. Okay, all right. DeMar DeRozan was shooting 52%. Now he's shooting 47%. Okay, all right. And once you get that, you're basically done. Okay. The key is Lopez. He has to step in front of Giannis. It's going to be hard. They're not on the same level, but he has to just step in front of him and don't let him get to the basket. Okay? Don't let him get to the basket. And Holiday has to play defense. They're 18th in defense. So if you get Drew Holiday to play defense,
as much as I think Ron said it, we don't believe in it too much, but they flipped the switch. Milwaukee at some point they flipped it and started to get in playoff mode. And I think you're starting to see that. You're starting to see them play like they did last year to get to the finals. Yep. Look, Chicago's coming in at the worst possible time. And I agree with both of you. This is a sweep. This should be a sweep. If Milwaukee allows themselves to lose a game, they're doing themselves a disservice because this is a rest.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking.
They get through this, they get some rest.
Mm-hmm. You're talking if somebody gets hot on Chicago with shooting threes, then they can probably squeak one out. But other than that, listen, it's not gonna. They just can't match up.
You said it. Milwaukee wants to win this series in 4 because the next series that they face is either Brooklyn or Boston. That series probably going 6-7 games.
Yeah.
So you're talking about being well rested, going into a very tough matchup in the next round. And the
home team will win that series too.
Right. So you want to be well rested. So I'd be surprised if they don't just try to take care of business and not even play around with them. Number 4 seed, the Philadelphia 76ers will face the number 5 Toronto Raptors. Toronto won the season series 3-1, averaged 109 points versus Philly's 106. Philadelphia shot the ball a little better, 45% to 43, but shot the 3 better, 40% from 3-point range in those games against Toronto versus 38. But it got out rebounded 46 to 39. Philadelphia, number 1 free throw shooting team in the league. They get to the basket. James Harden likes that. He still does it. That little pump fake, gets fouled, throws up the shot. This one to me is so hard to pick.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I want, if you look on paper, you say Joel Embiid, James Harden, it's a lock. It's a lock. But Toronto, I mean, Van Vliet averaged 32 points against Philly, and Siakam averaged 30. Those 62 points right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And considering they're out-rebounding Philly.
Which would surprise, right? With Embiid, you think
about it is a surprise. So the key to that game, that series is going to be somebody else has to get some rebounds other than Embiid. Somebody else has to play big. If they don't, they're going to lose. Because how many times have we seen Harden go for 40 and still lose in the playoffs?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We've seen it.
Toronto's scrappy. Number 2 in the league in steals. Average 9 steals a game.
Yep.
So get some turnovers. Again, control Embiid enough to he's not, double machine. And those other 2 guys score.
Yeah.
Toronto could win this series. And
they can.
And we still got to factor in, which is crazy to think about, vaccination statuses. Yeah, because we just don't know who is or who isn't.
Right.
So there may be guys that can't travel to Toronto.
There might be.
And if that's the case, now all of a sudden those games.
And I got a feeling I might know one of those guys. And if he causes his team to lose because of it, that number one spot that we put him in is well deserved. Because if that's the factor on them losing at least 2 or 3 games, that's bad. That's a bad look.
So let's look at the number 1 Miami Heat versus the number 8 Atlanta Hawks. This should be a fun series as well. Miami won the series 3-1 in the regular season, scoring 115 points to Atlanta's 107. Miami shot 50%, almost 51% in those 4 games, 39.7% from 3. Out rebounded them, out assisted them. Number 1 3-point percentage team in the league this year, Miami. But number 2 was Atlanta. So Atlanta was not far behind. It was 0.5%.
Now think about this. During the preview, I believe we put, Atlanta in the top 6, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I think we had them basically around the number 6 spot. We did not expect Boston to be, above that.
Yeah.
So their season just started yesterday. They finally started to play. So they have really 1 game under their belt this season that they actually were ready for. And they've done they floated through the whole season, not doing anything, not working hard. And somehow here they are in the 8th spot going against Miami. And it's all going to come down to that 3-point shooting. Don't you think? Like, when you really think about it, these are the top 2 3-point shooters. And it's going to be a battle on who's going to have the better percentage. Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to.
And they're both very good at the free throw line. They're 4th and 5th overall. So, look, you get them to the line, they're going to make their free throws.
And Trae Young just started yesterday. Yeah.
So I would say this, and Kenny criticized me, and I'll never forget it, the NBA preview show, when I said Trae Young is going to be the next Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And he's he gave me all this, his faces. Kenny, did you see those threes he was hitting yesterday?
Yeah.
From the logo, from who's that?
Like,
who does that?
I remember, look, I was watching the game, and I'm like, oh my God, Cleveland is running away with this. And I was going to message you. It's like, can you believe this? Cleveland is on fire. And then all of a sudden, boom! Trae Young went off.
Trae Young took over. 3rd quarter, he took over.
It was
and then
unbelievable.
You started to see his shooting range. We all say Miami is Miami. We don't really consider him a true number 1.
No.
Trae Young he's going to have a party this series. He's going to average 35. You ready to call him the next Steph Curry? Not yet, Kenny.
No.
Still,
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. He is great. He's Ice Trae, but it took him 3 quarters to get hot.
Ice Trae. He's an Ice Trae. That's pretty funny. I like that.
That's his nickname.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I would say, look, you could sit there and say it took him 3. He took over when he needed to.
Yeah.
That's it. Look, his team kept him in the game. 3rd quarter.
Was that Jimmy Butler I heard?
Jimmy Butler crying. Yeah. Yeah. My dogs love the pick. I'm a little, I don't know. I just feel like the only thing you got to look at is that Clint Capella injury yesterday.
Yeah.
That could be crucial for their success. Because honestly, if you look at Atlanta,
I have Miami taking it.
Because again, that pick and roll, that game that Trae Young likes to play with, that pick and roll, and then the lobs to Collins and Capella, that's where you're going to start to see some problems. But I just realized when I looked at the injury list, Bam Adebayo, COVID, may not play.
Yeah.
And Tyler Hero's a game time decision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So those are 2 big pieces of what Miami likes to do. Tyler Hero, we know his threes. And then Bam is that, again, yesterday, I think we talked about unicorns. Yeah. Right? And he's that unicorn guy. He can do a little bit of everything for them. And he's very good. So it's a very interesting series if these injuries continue.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny because
That's why I said Miami's on upset alert.
Mhm, mhm. And it's funny how you say the pick and roll because Miami sucks against the pick and roll. They're terrible against the pick and roll. They give up 13 points a game against the pick and roll.
And that's Atlanta's strength.
Yeah.
Because that's what Trey does. Look, if you bite and you pick up the center on the slide, he just steps back and hits the free throw jumper.
Yep.
So look, it's a very tough matchup. And I'd like to see Trae Young start to get the credit he deserves, Kenny. So they need to win this series so I can finally start to, knock you down a little bit and realize that he's the next Steph Curry.
Oh, they won the series.
Oh, okay. All right.
Did you just say
He's
Miami's going to lose?
He's saying Miami's going to lose that series.
Yeah.
Upset alert. That's what I
Upset
say.
alert. All right, gentlemen. This is the series that we've been waiting for. Probably the most interesting series so far of this NBA playoffs. When this got booked,
Lakers versus Boston?
Yes, LeBron. You want to talk LeBron so bad that you got to make sure we mention it every time.
Oh, that's right. He's not in the playoffs.
You see, I told you he could not do it. I knew he wanted to talk about LeBron. I knew he wanted to talk about LeBron.
Resist.
It's like I just that's what goes first is your memory.
If anybody, I don't know, because if anybody watched the show yesterday, you had the Lakers gold on. Yeah, sure, it was the Lakers gold. You're supporting LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is calling this the series of all series. It's the number 2 Boston Celtics versus the number 7 Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, the expectations of what Brooklyn had coming into the season is what's really hyping this up. But Boston won the series 3-1 during the regular season, averaging 121 points a game versus Brooklyn's 110. So you're talking about a pretty good margin there. Boston shot the ball 48.6% from the field versus 45 for Brooklyn, 35 from 3 versus 33 for Brooklyn. Out-rebounded them by 2, had more assists. Boston, number 4th in rebounds, number 2 in blocks, number 2 in free throws. Brooklyn, number 4 in field goal percentage, number 5 in blocks. Boys, I'm going to ask you this question right now. Should this even be as hyped up as it should be, thinking about what Brooklyn's been all year?
I mean, yeah, because, we know they should have been – it should have been opposite. From the beginning of the season, you would think Brooklyn was going to be like a number 2 seed and the Celtics would be in the play-in, And
I'm going to quote
it turned out different.
I'm going to quote a famous coach. Yeah, he may have coached in New England at one point, and that was a Bill Parcells. And he made a quote one time. He said, "Our record is what we are." Yeah. So we can sit there all day and say Brooklyn is their super team, and they should have been, could have been, absolutely would have been. Their record is what they are. And even when Kyrie and Durant were able to play full time, they still didn't dominate. They didn't make you feel like they can't be beat. And that's my question is, are we hyping up the Brooklyn Nets so much and not appreciating what Boston did this season and what they were able to accomplish? They were the number 1 defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
And how many times do we say in playoffs, defense wins championships?
Absolutely.
And they've got 2 legitimate scorers with Tatum and Brown. And Marcus Smart was their 3rd leading scorer during those series against Brooklyn, averaging 17, almost 18 points a game.
Yep.
He's
and the assists.
Tatum's become a leader. Brown is a guy that you can count on for 25 points. And yet we're still saying Brooklyn has a shot to win this series.
I'm not.
No, you're not either?
I'm not.
All right, how about all the other networks are?
5.
Wow. If Ben Simmons returns, are we at least a little worried about it?
No. That guy hasn't played in like a year and a half. It's like, look, this guy is not in game shape. He's going to go up and down that court maybe 3 times, and he's going to be huffing. He's not going to be able to breathe. His chest is going to explode on him. You know,
I'm not a big Stephen A. fan. I'm really, I don't know, sometimes, but he had a quote the other day that just cracked me up. He said, "How does a man hurt his back after he hasn't played in a year and a half? Like, what did he do
Thank you.
that
Right?
he can't play?
Right.
That his back was that, like, he hasn't been playing basketball, and yet somehow he still got injured."
No. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I just
look. The only thing I'm saying is you've got to take this team seriously, because if you don't, they will beat you. So they have to come and play.
They have a top 10 player of all time in Kevin Durant. So you always have to worry about I wanted to see Ron's face.
Top 20. Not top
So
10.
I will say this. I am expecting, and I'm going to say it right now. And if I jinx him, Kenny, I'll allow you to come and beat me up. This is going to be the series where Jason Tatum finally takes that next leap and becomes the superstar that we all expected him to be a couple years ago.
Does that mean he's going to hit a clutch shot in the fourth quarter?
This means he's going to dominate this series, where it's going to be clear cut that he's going to be what Kevin Durant is right now, that people are going to be talking about who's the next superstar, right? LeBron was the guy. Then now KD's that number one player. Jason Tatum, this is going to be the series where Jason Tatum starts to be in those conversations as the best player in the NBA today. He needs to, because this is the only way this team has a legitimate shot to win a title, is that he starts to become that guy. He has to become the alpha. And until he does that, and that's why I like this series for him, because now he's going to go head to head with Kevin Durant, and KD is going to throw up 30-plus points a game. Can you match it and maybe even exceed it? Can you get one of those 50-point games in the playoffs and be like, wow, okay, he ain't losing. He is not going to lose this series. That's what you need. That's what Boston needs. Because if they don't get that, and he's an average player, or him and Brown are just, let's bounce around 25 points, and they're not going to win. They're not going to win. They're not going to advance, because they need those guys to understand, I'm the alpha. Everybody else, just follow me for the ride. This has to be the series. And I'm saying it only because I'm a Celtic fan. You're a Celtic fan. Kenny, you're a Celtic fan.
We all know. Be a Celtic fan too.
Hey, but we are not gonna see them ever advance if Jason Tatum doesn't become the alpha. They need a guy. Paul Pierce was the guy. We can sit there, and even when Garnett came and Garnett toughened them up defensively and made Ray Allen, right, crucial 3-point shooting, but it was still Paul Pierce's team. And if they were going to win a game, when he had to face Kobe in the finals, he was point for point. I'm not letting you beat me. This has to be that game. This has to be that series for Tatum. KD, get your points, but guess what? I'm going to match you point for point, if not do better than you.
Yeah, and then it'll have to come down to the next guy on the tier list, and that is Irving and Brown, and I like that matchup.
Listen, Marcus Smart, is going to probably play Kyrie a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
So Kyrie's going to have to work for everything he's getting.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Yeah, and look, Marcus Smart he has become such a dynamic piece for the Celtics. Could you imagine this team going into the playoffs without Marcus Smart?
No. And we talked about moving him. You remember how we kept saying we got to move him? Look, he finally started. You know who doesn't get enough credit is Ime Udoka, because he's made this guy smarten up enough to say, look, don't take bad shots for us. Distribute the ball. Take your shots when they're there.
Yeah.
Play your defense, and you can become that guy that's going to help us win a championship. Brad Stevens was never able to get him to stop taking bad shots. And you see less bad shots now from Smart. And I don't think Udoka gets enough credit for the coaching job he did this year with Boston, because it's not much different team. If anything, we brought back players from years past.
Yeah.
Tice, Horford.
Right. And yet, in Horford, Tice, we brought these guys back, and they're better than they were because he was able to change that culture. This is a fun series, but this is a series that Boston needs to just dominate and control. Look, you're not going to win 4 straight, But there should not be a pressure of like it's 2-2, and now you're really worried about, you know what I mean, a 3-game series. They should be able to dominate this series. That was good. Some good Boston talk. I love the Celtics, man. That was great. But we've got to make our picks, gentlemen. We are at that point where we are going to decide which teams come out and then which teams are going to be in the finals and what team is going to win it all. So we'll start off. We'll go with the 1-8 matchup, Miami versus Atlanta. Who do you have?
Who wants to start?
I will start. I have Miami coming out of that series in 6.
I got Atlanta in 5.
Here we go. Here we go. I knew we'd get one out of Kenny. Ron, he's going.
I got Miami in 7.
All right.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Right. So then that would leave the 4-5 matchup. So Philadelphia, Toronto.
I got Philadelphia in 6.
I got Toronto in 7. Matisse
Atlanta, Toronto.
Hold on. Thibault cannot go to Toronto. He's not vaccinated, not fully vaccinated, and that's their point guard.
Okay. All right. I said that could be a factor. I think Philly has just enough talent to get by this series, but I think it goes 7. Philly. I got Philly. Milwaukee versus Chicago. 3-6 matchup.
I got Milwaukee in 4.
I got the Bucks in 4.
Clean sweep. Milwaukee in 4.
Yeah.
Chicago sweep them. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. And then that there we go. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
So Boston versus Brooklyn, the 2-7 matchup. I'm not jinxing it.
Either.
Kenny, you start.
I'll go Boston in 5.
Boston in 5. I'm gonna go Boston in 6. I'm hoping I don't regret this.
Gutless.
I gotta pick.
You have to pick my.
Yeah,
friend.
we're gonna sit here until you do.
I also got Boston in 6.
James, thanks for joining. Boston in 6. So the only so you got that Atlanta Toronto thing, but we both have Milwaukee Boston in conference finals. All right, let's go over to the West.
Wait, Milwaukee and Boston in conference finals? They can't.
No, and then the Eastern Championship.
Oh, okay.
So you got the conference finals, then the Eastern Championships, then the finals. Do you want to go East and finish the East out first, or do you want to go West? How do you gentlemen want to do it? We'll stick to the East then. All right, we'll stick to the East, and then we'll pick out who gets to the final from the East. So in the conference finals, Kenny, you have Atlanta and Toronto. Who wins that series?
Atlanta.
I have Miami and Philly. I'm going Miami. Ron.
I'm going Philly in 7.
Wow, you got the number one pressure guy, James Harden, is getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. I love it. We all had Milwaukee versus Boston. Who comes out of that series?
Boston in 7, chickens.
I've got Milwaukee in 6.
Ooh.
He can't say it. He can't do it. I'm not doing it, man.
I got Boston in 7.
All right.
At least somebody sacked up.
All right. So in the Eastern Conference Finals, that means you have, Ron, Philly and Boston. Who's winning that?
Boston in 5.
You are such a homer, though. Everything.
I'm not
The
a
Bruins-
homer. They have the best defensive team in
Yesterday,
the league.
the Boston Bruins have scored 1 goal all year against Carolina. He's like, Carolina needs to worry about Boston. You are a homer. I can't. Kenny, you have Atlanta versus Boston.
Yeah.
Who do you got winning that one?
I got Boston in 4.
Oh, that one he's confident. Look, he's a bang, Boston in 4. Okay. I have Miami, Milwaukee. Milwaukee getting back to the finals. So that's how we got our East. Our Eastern Conference champions. You two both have Boston. I have Milwaukee. Let's go over to the West. Phoenix Suns versus the New Orleans Pelicans. I feel like this is the upset alert that everybody's been waiting for. We're all going to pick New Orleans on this one, correct?
No.
Ron, what do you got?
Phoenix in 4.
Phoenix in 4. Kenny?
I got the Suns in 5. Phoenix, New Orleans will win the first game, but then Phoenix will get it together.
Wow.
The next 4.
I got Phoenix winning in 5 as well. Okay. 4-5 matchup, Dallas versus Utah. I will go first on this one. I have Utah upsetting Dallas because I don't feel like Luke is going to be 100%.
How many games?
6.
I have Utah in 6 as well.
I got the Mavs in
7.
4.
4.
They're going to lose the first game.
I can't. You see? We get one every time. Here's Atlanta.
We got one right there. Hook, line, and sinker.
3-6 matchup. Golden State versus Denver. I'll go first.
Okay, Golden
again.
State in 7.
Golden in 7.
I got Golden in 6.
I got Denver in 6. The run ends for Golden State.
I would love to see that, actually.
I'm not impressed with them this year. Really not. 2-7 seed, Memphis, Minnesota. I'm going Memphis here. I think it's a 5. I think Minnesota gets 1 game, but Memphis in 5.
Memphis in 5.
I got the Grizzlies 6.
Grizz in 6. All right. So semis. We both have Phoenix. We all have Phoenix. And then Kenny, you got Dallas. So we'll go. Who do you got?
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Ron, you have Utah and Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I have Phoenix as well, going to the conference.
In 5.
In 5. Phoenix, I could 6. I'll go 6. 6. You both have Golden State versus Memphis. Who do you got?
Golden State in 7.
I also have Golden State in 7.
I have Denver and Memphis. I have Memphis going in 6. So now we are on to the Western Conference Finals. We all have Phoenix, correct? I have Memphis. You guys have Golden State.
So you go first.
I am going first. Upset City, based on my NBA guru, has told me that the Memphis Grizzlies will beat the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. So Memphis is going to the NBA Finals. So I've got Phoenix, Golden State.
I've got Golden State in 7.
Giving way too much credit to Golden State right now.
I got Memphis, at 6. No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you didn't have Memphis.
Yeah, I was just like, wait a minute.
Here we go again. Is this like the baseball thing?
hold on, wait.
Who was the baseball
Oh, sorry.
in the playoffs? So he picked the same
San
team
Diego
twice.
was in the American
Right.
League.
And then he kept picking the same team twice every time.
Tampa Bay.
Kenny, you already said that team. Give me
I got
another one.
Phoenix. I got Phoenix.
Phoenix. So you have Phoenix versus Boston in the finals.
Yep.
And you have Golden State versus Boston in the finals, Ron.
Yep.
I have Memphis and Milwaukee in the finals. Gentlemen, it is time to tell the people out there who are watching who will be the next NBA champion. Kenny, is banner number 18 going up?
Yes.
Whoa, Boston Celtics will defeat the Golden State Warriors. Right?
7.
7 games.
Oh, I'm about to pass out.
Ron.
I got Boston in
have-
6.
Boston in 6.
And I'll tell you
versus Golden
why.
State.
Boston is the best defense against 3-point shooting.
Yes.
And I think that is the matchup that is going to help the Celtics. Because if it's Phoenix that plays against the Celtics, they're not going to beat Phoenix.
Right.
So, I love Memphis. I think Memphis is such a fun team, and they get it just from all aspects of it. So, I am picking the Milwaukee Bucks to win in 5. The Milwaukee Bucks will be back-to-back champions. Giannis is just going to have an unbelievable series, averaging 30-plus. Double-double machine. So, Milwaukee Bucks will be your NBA champions. You heard it here first. Boston. You
Yeah.
both got Boston. Homers. 2 homers. Because I will tell you right now, neither one of you would have picked Boston earlier in the year.
No, I wouldn't have.
No.
I'll be the
Now,
first
all of a
one to
sudden, they're
admit
the
it.
greatest team ever.
No, they're not the greatest team ever. They're the best defensive team in the league right now, and I'll take that because that's what it's going to take. You know?
I'm going to ask you this question. The Milwaukee-Boston series that we discussed, who's the best player in that series?
Marcus
Tatum.
Smart.
What are you on right now? And can I get some? Because there's no... Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in that series. Who stops him in Boston?
Marcus Smart doesn't stop him particularly, you know, that, but Marcus Smart is going to be the best player in that series. Not necessarily points,
Okay.
but he's
So-
going to have the dishes. He's going to have, the defensive stops. So I think he's going to be the best player of that series.
So my 2 co-hosts here both have Boston. I have Milwaukee. We still have the East winning it all. We agree the East. We still feel the East is a better conference than the West.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And
West is
that
very
side of
top-heavy.
that side of the bracket is also the best part of the
Yeah.
East.
Yes.
Because I like Milwaukee, I like Boston, I like Brooklyn, and I like Chicago. Like I said, I thought Chicago was going to hang, and I think they have the players that can move on. So, look, I have Milwaukee in 4, but Chicago does have the skill set to come through if they get hot. So if they get hot and they manage to get past Milwaukee, Chicago does match up, decently against Brooklyn. So if Brooklyn, again, these are all big ifs, and I don't think they're going to happen. If Brooklyn gets by Boston, then I can see, if Chicago makes it to them, then I can see Chicago being the one to go, to the finals. Because I don't think anybody on that top half of that bracket in the East can make it there.
I am definitely more interested in seeing what happens in the East. And the fact that I got Miami going through to the championship, I'm not comfortable with that. I just feel like it's because of the matchups, and I'm not sold on Philly, but I still feel Philly could possibly have a run.
And that's just it.
Or
Like
again,
that top half
Toronto,
is not scary.
Yeah. And then Toronto, you still sit there and go, okay, sneaky quiet. Oh yeah. Like they've been good. They've been good.
Yeah.
Nothing mind blowing, but look, it's going to be a fun playoff. It starts today. In the next half hour or so, we get our first tip off. Kenny's already got Dallas sweeping, so that should be interesting. With no Luka Doncic today, we get Kenny's good for at least one. I don't know about that Atlanta thing either, but
we'll see.
We'll have to see.
Close. I was close to going there, but
no. I listen. It's going to be a fun series. We, as normal, will still have a NBA ranking show. Obviously, there won't be any rankings. We'll just discuss some playoff basketball, what's been going on during the course of the week. Maybe we'll get Ron to jump in and join in for some of his NBA, and then we could do the same with Kenny and NHL when the playoffs start. You can jump in. No, you don't want no. And stay tuned this week. So we'll have our Major League Baseball rankings will be out again on Monday. And Ron, you'll still have what? 2 more weeks of NHL.
Well, we'll keep doing the NHL through the playoffs, but we'll just won't have rankings.
Such a
go-getter.
Kenny, maybe you want to do it. We could do an NBA ranking of the top 5 playoff teams.
Yeah.
That might be fun.
So,
gentlemen, I want to thank you. I hope you enjoy the NBA playoffs. Again, let's tune in today. And then check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We are fan interactive. You jump in. We will definitely chime back. We've had some people join us today. Sarah, James, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Fans that are going to watch later on, like and follow us on so many different media formats. At Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. If you want to just listen to us because you can't stand our ugly faces, I got you guys. Listen to us on our podcast on Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and TuneIn. And if you'd like to sponsor Sports Unfolded. So not only do we have our regular shows, we have NBA shows, NHL shows, preview shows for Major League Baseball, hockey, basketball, and football. Check us out, ribroadcasting.media @gmail.com. Check us out. Get in touch with us about sponsoring the show so we can continue to do even more for Sports Unfolded and get thousands of eyes on your business daily. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Kenny, as always, you come through with something that just blows my mind, shocks the world. Ron, nice job with the pick and roll. Almost got it right. So you're getting better. You're starting to learn from me. I appreciate that.
Oh my God, please.
Guys, let's enjoy some basketball. Fans out there, take care. Let's just have some peace in this world.
Go Bruins.